Hey everybody, this is Ren, and we got Harper.
And Harper.
Yeah, he's a regular now, and this is Digital History Podcast. I also do long form videos and short form videos, so hope you could take a look at that. And tonight's topic for our video, our podcast, is going to be about generals. Okay, good and bad generals. So again, it's kind of short form. So we have two good generals and two bad generals. Okay, so that's the kind of setup we got. Before I begin the topic, I will say something that's kind of funny. I did a video maybe 2 weeks ago now on Instagram. It was semi-viral, 860K views. It's pretty nuts. Didn't get paid for it, but
I don't get paid for anything.
Yeah, not even this. But it was called generals that never lost a battle, and basically a lot of people were upset that I didn't include this, I didn't include this person, and it's I will make a part two, right? So if you haven't taken a look, you could take a look. So we're gonna begin now with two good generals, and Chris is gonna start first, and his good general is gonna be kind of related to my good general. So
yeah, it's actually odd how that worked out.
Right.
I'm not a history guy, so whenever you throw these topics at me, I have to do a little bit of research on it. And the first one I have is General Car Insurance. That little general who walks around and says, "I can save you." No, I'm just messing around.
International fans are like, "What?"
Yeah, they're like, "I don't know." The little CG animated guy. No, it's actually like a beast of a general from Russia named Alexander Suvorov. I hope I said that correctly.
I think it's pronounced Suvorov. Yes.
Yeah. He popped up on the top generals of Russia and of overall. This dude did not lose a single battle in his whole military career. And I think he was I don't know how long military, maybe 50 years, but the fool was 70 years old when he died. But he took part in military campaigns that went all across that time frame of his entire life. And it was the Polish uprising, wars against the Ottoman Empire, and even into revolutionary France.
He died in 1800. I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's 70 years old. So I'm pretty sure he's in the military from around fighting age, which is 18 to 20. So it's probably a 50-year run. But he was able to take things that were considered untakeable. There was a Turkish fortress that he just went in and bulldozed.
I heard about I heard about that, where he basically went
he was doing the impossible.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah.
Right. He was smashing French forces, and I know where you're going with this one, but there was also, I'm literally reading the note here, and I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong. It says he took the French forces who were superior to his own in the Battle of Trebia. Trebia? I don't know. But he was able to do this, and a lot of people looked up to him because he had this eye for judgment, where he would see something and be like, "I'm going to attack quick at this point on the weak parts." And he would strike rapidly, unexpected. And at the time, there were other generals of other nations, Napoleon being one of them, who expressed admiration for him and was like, "Oh, he's got the heart, but not the mind of a great commander." And unfortunately, they never met on the battlefield, so they weren't able to see who was better and write the check.
Right.
But this dude, if you just look at his military career, it's battle after battle after battle after battle, and he just wrecks people. So he's my good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ironically, I don't know a lot about Suvorov. I believe he fought they say battles, but he fought 70 plus battles.
Yeah.
And he won every single one. But sometimes it's not even a full-on battle. It's probably just a few thousands people lined up. It's an engagement of some sort, and then okay. Or it's he might have a contingent of the main battle force, and it's okay, they win. Okay. So it's not a full-on battle, but he's attributed for he's attributed for 70 plus
wars. Yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
70 different individual battles. And I think the Turkish thing I was trying to say was It was something about like a fortress, and he had to take the only way he could take it was like head on,
Hmm.
and he like with the soldiers went into the water, and they just went straight up into the front of the fortress, and somehow took it, and it's yeah, pretty unbelievable.
Yeah,
And
that's I know like obviously history is the world. And I like when I saw this guy's name pop up, I thought, I've never once really looked into like the history of like Russia, like the empire. And then I
mm,
started doing a little bit of things, and it's like there is some crazy good stuff there. So
mm.
like yeah, this one caught my eye.
Yeah, Russian history is a very, very long one with a lot of famous, well-known generals. And yeah, ironically, Russia was always known to be very, very, very backwards up till the 1700s, when they were ruled by Peter the Great, and basically they had to like drastically modernize. So yeah, I mean, I've always heard of Suvorov, and I'm just like, oh, okay, like wow, he's that great. And you probably don't know what this is, but like the person I was when I hear Suvorov, I get confused with a guy named Kutuzov. Probably never heard of
Nope.
him. He fought
I
against
know
Napoleon,
Makarov.
and oh, Call of Duty, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But like Kutuzov, and it's like all these like
Hmm.
Zov, and I'm like, oh, what? Like all these OV sound names, and but yeah, Suvorov is considered very great. And the funny thing was, while mentioning that video I made about generals that never lost a battle, a ton of people are like, where's Suvorov? Where's Suvorov? And I'm like, all right, just chill out. Like it's not the whole list, right?
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, he's gonna be in my next video. So
Oh,
people that are interested, yeah, I'm gonna put him in the video because he's so
okay.
popular.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next person that I'm gonna mention, and I've said it for many times, it's my favorite general. And I'll break it down a little bit. It's Napoleon Bonaparte,
I
and
figured that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Napoleon Bonaparte, realistically, like I said earlier about the battles being attributed to Napoleon, Napoleon himself took part in like real um mass scale battles. I believe he fought in like 50 battles over like a almost 20-year period. He fought like about 50 battles, and I believe he won 43 of them. Not a perfect
Cool.
record. Yeah, so and a lot of times his battles he was outnumbered. And I've made a video about Napoleon, and basically he revolutionized warfare at that time. So maybe that quote you said about Suvorov, he was
Yeah,
kind
that
of
he has
like,
like the heart but not the mind.
yeah, he's kind of like mocking him, like, okay, not as bright as like I am. Um, Maybe you don't know this, but I had a previous video where I mentioned with Robin. But did you know in World War One they still call the style of fighting Napoleonic warfare, which is just like
I've heard
run,
Napoleonic
run,
warfare.
run, run,
Hmm.
and basically it's just this. They still kind of fought like Napoleon, even in World War One, even when
Hmm.
there's like machine guns and stuff. It was just kind of crazy. But yeah, a thing I wanted to mention about Napoleon, and I always tell people this story when I was teaching abroad. I bring up a short story of a mythical, not mythical, but like an imaginary person. So, and I would like you to listen to this, Chris, and see what you think, or people that are
Sure.
watching. So let's just say America was being attacked on four directions. So America is being attacked by Russia, Canada, Mexico, and like the UK. And basically, America's being attacked. And let's say
An odd alliance.
we'll just use the South, okay?
Okay.
The South rebels again,
Okay.
okay? And basically, America is really starting to lose, right? It's getting really hampered down by all the fighting on different parts of America. The economy's dying, and everyone is struggling. But then somehow, an American, let's just say in this example, a Cuban or a Bahamian, but a Cuban person goes to America becomes military educated, and long story short, he himself basically fights off all four enemies and stops the rebellion within the country itself, America itself. And then he's like, "Who wants to continue fighting with me?" Right now, I'm assuming Would you know who that person is? Right? It's of course Napoleon.
I wouldn't know because I don't know too many Cubans.
Right. I just use Cuban because it's an island. But did you know
Yeah.
that? Did you know Napoleon was not born in France?
I was actually confused at that point. Is
Oh,
there a reason that he went to France from wherever he was from?
so he was born in Corsica, it's still French now, but Corsica in the 1760s was an Italian island. So when he was
Really?
born, yeah, when he was born, the island just became French.
Ah,
So they're
okay.
Italians
So it's like,
basically, right?
but
So
it was
basically
technically French
Napoleon,
territory?
yeah, barely.
Okay.
So if you're looking at it like genetically, Napoleon is Italian. Like
Okay.
he's got Italian DNA. I'm sorry, he's completely Italian. Okay, I should say that. Or he's
Okay.
completely Corsican. Like he's a.
Yeah.
Um. So the funny thing is, when he went to France to like study military stuff, he spoke with an accent, a French accent. So his whole life he did not speak perfect French, and people
You
made
mean
fun
an
of him.
Italian accent?
Well, I mean, a French accent in a different accent. I don't know.
Like he
Like I don't.
speaks French with a different sound, I guess.
Yeah, with a different accent. Yeah, he did not speak French in
Interesting.
the yeah. And here's another interesting thing. His original name was I'm going to be butchering this. Is like Napoleone Buonaparte. It's like Buona. When he went to France, it became
Whoa.
Bonaparte, like Bona. Yeah, so they're called the Bonaparte, the
So
Bonapartes.
let
Yeah.
me just try to relate this because I've never heard of this. So what you're saying is like
Yep.
the area he was born was basically like Italy up until right before he was born. Then it was turned into France, which is why he kind
Or
of
French
speaks a
land.
different,
Yeah.
yeah, like
So
a French
France,
territory.
France and Italy fought each other, and France won. And they said
Okay.
we want the island because the French were fighting on the island against the
Okay.
Italians. I mean, they're not Italians. It was like Genoa or whatever, like some Italian city state. And they're like, we want Corsica as the victory, and they gave Corsica. It's called Corsica. But
Interesting.
today Corsica is France. Like it's been France the entire time. Yeah. So you go there, it's like it's France. So
So would this be, I guess, in your situation you're talking about, would it be something like Hawaii was not technically part of the US, and then all of a sudden it becomes part of the US and some guy comes over and he's like, "Hey, you know what? I know what I can do," and then like fights
right,
everybody
right.
off?
I was only using
Interesting.
Cuba because the proximity is so close to America, just like how Corsica is so close to France.
Or
But
like
my
Puerto
point
Rico.
is right. I should say Puerto
Yeah.
Rico. Right. Um,
Yeah.
my point is I was trying to use a
Hmm.
individual from an island, and they go to America slash France, and basically they solve all the problems. And I used to do this example I just did, this little story, and I would ask students and be like, "Would you fight for this man if he's like, let's now go attack, Mexico in the south and attack Canada in the north?"
Hmm.
And everyone's like, "Yeah, yeah, let's do it."
Yeah.
Right
Because you
now,
got
people are
everybody. Yeah.
yeah, if people are wondering, France was definitely attacked four sides. It was attacked in the south by Spain. It was attacked in the north by British and I guess you would say Germans, Prussians, attacked from the east by Austria, by Italy, and I mean Britain also. I mean on the west side, but that's more ships. But also they did have a rebellion. France had a rebellion, and there were these people who were like pro king. They killed the king, right? So they were pro king, and then they fought a long rebellion against France, and Napoleon stopped it all. So yeah. Anyway, so
Well,
that's
yeah.
kind of yeah, that's kind of my point of just trying to mention him as like the greatest general. And it's not talked about enough. But
Hmm.
yeah, you learned a lot about
Yeah, because
Napoleon right there.
actually, right there, the thing that we were just talking about with the Suvorov, like he was
Hmm.
actually fighting the French Revolution.
Mm,
So, like, it does
Yes,
Whether or
and
not, yeah,
yes, and I think maybe some people might be confused because you're saying, "Oh, Suvorov fought against the French," and people are like, "Oh, did he fight Napoleon?"
hmm,
So in that example,
revolutionary forces.
in that example I was giving when they fought, when the French Revolution, I guess you say, expanded, like it when the king was killed and they basically set up a government. The French actually they actually invaded outside of French lands. They invaded other countries, but because they were they were going to be they were being declared war upon, so
Hmm.
they started attacking first. And in these scenarios, the French armies sometimes would win, sometimes would lose. But I'm guessing somewhere in that, Suvorov fought the
Didn't
French
lose.
and didn't lose to them. Yeah. So and Napoleon came later. Napoleon started like 1795,
Hmm.
and Suvorov apparently died like 1800. But he
Yeah.
died he's obviously, I'm assuming, stopped fighting around that time. But yeah, the French fought for quite a while before Napoleon even came. So interesting dynamic. What if they fought? I don't know.
Ah,
Another video? No.
I guess. I mean, if you're going to match up these two like strong fighters here, it would be kind of like Tyson versus Muhammad Ali. Like there's a hypothetical there that you would never be able to know who would win, and it's like they always say like, oh well, he's good, but no one would ever
Yeah.
know. Or like Jordan LeBron.
Oh, come on, Jordan. Anyway.
Yeah, yeah. That's an
Oh,
easy
come on.
layup.
Yeah, screw that. But yeah, definitely with with Suvorov and Napoleon be quite interesting. Napoleon basically dominated for 10 years. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's quite a run for him. Yeah, so basically that's how we're gonna do for these first two, which is good generals, the great
Yeah.
generals. So now we're gonna go into bad generals, and Chris has a special one for the end. I don't know a lot
I
about this
I like
person.
to think he's a great general in my heart.
so so it's gonna be fresh for me too. But I'm gonna start first with a bad general, a really bad general, in my opinion, and it's gonna be a little connected with um I'm gonna say another general first, and then the bad general is gonna be mentioned next.
Okay.
So these two generals, the main one is the second one I'm gonna mention. These two generals, they're both fighting for the Union during the Civil War. The
Hmm.
Union is the side that won the war and saved the Union. And the first one is named McClellan, George B. McClellan, I believe. It's quite a nice name. The only reason I want to mention him first is because I believe he's the best friends of this really bad general. Okay,
He was almost my choice.
McClellan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You could talk a little about McClellan. What did you
No,
like?
no, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Because
Okay,
I'd rather mine. Yeah.
okay. So McClellan is famous because he became the top general of the Union Army. But his main issue was he never fought. He never really fought. He also had really, really bad spies and bad intel. So there's these famous scenarios or these famous sayings about McClellan where he's not a good general, but he's a great organizer. And
Hmm.
basically, I remember this from my studies way back when. But basically, let's just say Robert E. Lee is on the other side of the Potomac or something, and he's got his army there. But when it comes to McClellan, he constantly would what's it called? Drill march the soldiers. So they would constantly practice and march and march, and they looked very professional and very great. And then of course, but they never fight. They just look good and then they look
Hmm.
great. And I remember, I believe Lincoln was constantly telling please fight, and he's just not yet, not yet, not yet, right? And the sad thing was, I don't have the numbers right, but basically Robert E. Lee had let's say 50,000 soldiers or 60,000 soldiers. McClellan had 90,000 to 100,000. McClellan always thought Lee had 100,000. so he never fought. He's like, okay, I don't want to commit my armies if like we're gonna lose.
It's like, yeah.
Which is kind of ridiculous because the South, the Confederacy, had way less soldiers than the North. It's just like,
Well, but I mean, we know that in hindsight. I guess at that
no,
point,
I mean
like,
they
he
probably
might
knew
know.
populations back then.
He might know, but it's like, what if like that's not really the case? I don't want to send my troops in there and just get obliterated.
And he went in and did get obliterated.
Yeah,
So, and I believe the battle.
Hold,
yeah.
Hold.
Yeah,
wait,
yeah.
we're losing people. Just
Yeah,
hold, guys. Don't
I believe
fight
he
back.
did go in. So the main general I want to talk about next, though, is the famous general named Ambrose E. Burnside. If you see his image, he has the biggest sideburns on Earth, and apparently
Burnside
he
has sideburns.
Apparently, the word sideburns came from him.
Epic.
Burnsides, sideburns. Okay, anyway,
legendary general right there.
Yeah. So why he's so bad? So he's best friends with McClellan. Several things. So, Lincoln, not Lincoln. I'll mention Lincoln after. Basically, during the same battle that McClellan was getting whooped. Basically, it's funny. Burnside had to cross this river, and basically, if you get across the river, then the enemy is there, and Burnside had a large amount of soldiers that could fight, and instead of crossing the river, he had the soldiers build a small rock bridge to get across. Like, okay, we build this rock bridge, we're gonna get across, and we can fight them, and beat the South.
You're drilling, you got to look nice.
Well, that's McClellan, but yeah, the problem with the rock bridge or whatever, they had to cross a little creek. So the creek was knee high only, and Burnside was like, we got to build a rock bridge, and so they built the bridge, and then they went across finally, and then it's like it didn't help. The battle was already kind of lost at that point. That's his first mistake. Another thing he terribly did was Lincoln basically, after firing McClellan, was like, hey, Burnside, I want you to be the number one general. And Burnside refused twice. Probably a smart idea. He refused twice, and finally he okay, Lincoln, I'll take the position, right? And then he had two battles. So the first battle, another battle was called, I believe in my notes, it's called Fredericksburg, right? So basically, it's a town, and basically Robert E. Lee was there, and I believe Burnside just sends in the troops straight ahead, straight into the city, right? And the whole time the Confederates are entrenched, and they're just firing cannons, shooting, firing cannons, and shooting. And then the sad thing is Burnside had 12,000 casualties, not dead, but 12,000 casualties. And apparently Burnside said, "Oh, those men, those men." You committed 12,000 casualties. You're like, "Oh, those men, those men." Now, here's his final bad mistake, okay? So there's a famous battle he had. I believe it's in Petersburg now. It's called Petersburg. And this battle is known as the Battle of the Crater. Have you heard of that?
No.
Can you think of a... Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Fredericksburg. Does it say what state that's in?
Fredericksburg.
No? Because there's a Fredericksburg in Texas.
Oh, no. It was definitely not in Texas. Definitely not in Texas.
Okay.
Texas was barely fighting.
Continue on. The crater.
Okay, so can you think of a reference? Or
for a crater?
Have you ever seen any Civil War things involving a crater? Any movies? It was shown in a movie.
I don't really
if you don't know,
movies.
That's fine.
No.
There was a okay, I'm just gonna look it up right now.
Because I know there's Crater Park in Arizona, but that's definitely not Civil War.
Do you remember the movie Cold Mountain with Jude Law and
no.
Nicole Kidman? No.
Oh, no.
Okay. It won a few Oscars, but I believe in the beginning, I think it's the beginning of the movie. There's a quite an amazing scene in the film. Basically, So, and this really happened. Okay? So there's like a big explosion, and there's like a big crater. Okay, it's called the Battle of the Crater. So let me set it up. What happened was, okay, Burnside was like, okay, we're besieging this city, Petersburg. What we're gonna do is we're gonna build these underground tunnels for a few weeks, right? Oh, great idea!
Okay.
Sneak into the
Yeah.
town, right, or the city.
Okay.
They dig tunnels, and then they put dynamite under the tunnel. Okay, and
Okay. Okay. No, I'm following.
so
I'm
so
getting the idea here.
so it finally exploded. They set up the charge and
Hmm.
exploded into this massive crater. Okay, unfortunately, the crater was miscalculated, and it was like a few hundred meters from the city. Okay, okay, this actually happened. So
Okay.
the South was completely caught off guard, and apparently the explosion was so loud that it was heard like 50 miles away. Right, other cities.
Oh.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
huge. So caught off guard, and the South was not ready. Guess what Burnside told them to do?
Grow your side. No, no. Cross the creek, but first we must build a rock dam.
No, but what did he do with the crater? What did he tell the soldiers to do with the
Oh,
crater?
we have to fill it in to cover our tracks.
So is even worse than
No.
that.
No. Okay. Oh my gosh.
He
You may
told
have
them
won this.
he told them to charge into the crater.
What?
So they went in the crater instead of around the crater. Crater, I said crater. Instead of around the crater, they went in the crater. And as you can
So
imagine,
Star
they could
Wars,
not
I now have the high ground, Anakin. Like
they could not get out. So apparently the term turkey shoot was from this battle. So they were the
what
Northerners were
really?
supposedly the Northerners were stuck in the
Oh
crater, and the
man.
Southerners like finally like organized themselves after that massive explosion. They have like muskets just shooting at the Northerners in the crater. And
I can just
after that
imagine.
battle, I believe Burnside was demoted
I
for
can
good reason.
imagine being a guy and be like, oh hey, there's a crater, and then it's like and then it's like
And
you
they
see the
went
guy like
into
into the
it.
crater, and you're like,
Yeah, yeah.
what are
They
they
charged. They charged
doing?
straight into it. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
this I I guess turkey shoot, but at the same time, I guess the term shooting fish in a barrel had already been claimed
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Probably. Yeah.
like I on the opposite side being like, are they really doing this? Like, ah,
Yeah.
okay, well, let's just take them out. Like
I told
that's
you the South was completely caught off guard because they didn't know they were building it under them. The explosion obviously like freaked them out, and then it was like, okay, let's organize. It's like, oh, they're all in the crater. It's like, what? They start shooting and
like
like, yep.
the idea in all just letting them have it here. The idea of digging tunnels, planting explosives, and blowing it up, it's like good strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Had you done it right. Because had
Exactly.
you like everything was I don't want to say was good, but it's like I get where you're going for. You blow it up, the town crumbles. Good. You miss it, fault one. Let's go ahead and go around it. No, no, no. Let's just go straight through it, up and over, down to the bottom where everyone else can see us. Bad decision.
I think it was partially it could have been like, oh, there's a lot of smoke, there was fog, so they didn't know where they were going. But it's just like you could have just been like, go around it,
Yeah.
officers go around type of thing, and then yeah, it's just it was bad. Yeah.
You may have won the worst general here.
All
I
right.
was not expecting this.
It was that bad. Yeah. I saw a video about him on the History Channel like when I was in high school, and I was like, he went into the crater, and the show was like, he went in, not around. And I was like, what?
I can I can
Yeah.
see that being like like an onion thing where it's like he ordered his troops to go into the crater. It's like, sir, shouldn't we go no into the crater? Like,
Yeah. Obviously, he did not
wow.
charge. Anyway.
Well,
Um,
they did directly into the crater.
no, I mean he didn't go in. Like it was like
Oh,
he was away from it. Yeah.
well,
Okay,
then
so that
yeah.
was quite a bit of while. Let's go with yours now. It's gonna be a bit of a shock
Nope,
to
I
me.
think that wraps it up. Thank you for no. So wow, I don't know if I could follow that up.
This is
Mine
great.
is a guy named Francisco Solano Lopez. He's born in 1827 and died in 1870. Um, let
Interesting
me ask you
case.
this:
Okay.
when your parent says, "Hey, don't touch that. It's hot," what should you do?
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Cool. If your dad or your mom gives you a fork, or for some reason as a baby you have a fork and they say, "Don't put that into the electrical socket," what do you do?
Not do it.
Correct is the answer we're looking for. This guy did not. Um, I'm not a big history guy. I'm not a big geography guy. I do know a little bit about certain countries. For instance, Paraguay. Do you know where that is? South America,
S- Um, actually,
roughly.
don't. North?
Okay.
Okay.
It's I guess it's kind of middle. Its northern neighbor is Brazil, and its southern neighbor
Oh,
is Argentina, where Manu
okay.
Ginobili is from. Uh, that's an old basketball reference, by the way.
You're right, right, right.
Uh, so he's kind of sandwiched between Brazil and Argentina, and his dad at the time was, uh, oh gosh, Carlos Antonio Lopez. Sounds good. But he was the dictator at the time, and he had
Of
basically
Paraguay?
modernized. Yes, and
Okay,
he had
okay.
basically modernized Paraguay at like the mid 19th century. And for him, as he started getting to that age, he was like, you know what? I'm going to give power to my son, and I'm going to give you basically at that time relatively the strongest, most powerful military.
In South America.
Cool.
Whoa.
Yes. And he
Wow.
was like, listen, you have this power. Just whatever you do, don't use it for like diplomatic problems. Like
Mm,
don't go fighting people. But if you know
mm.
if people attack you, you can use it, but just don't go out there. And he was
Mhm.
like, got it. Attack everybody. So this dude literally took like what his dad said and was like, I got it, Dad. I'm gonna declare war on Brazil. So
Was there a reason?
I didn't
Didn't go
really
that
look
deep
into it
yet.
that much. No, I just saw this and I was like, wow,
I will
this
say
guy.
one thing. I don't know the size. I don't know. I didn't know where Paraguay was, but I can assure you, Brazil is probably like 20 times the size of Paraguay.
Uh,
Population probably too. Like in a way, okay,
I
bad idea.
so I don't
Yeah.
know at the time. I do know. I would say probably maybe like a quarter or a sixth the size now. Looking at a map,
Wow. Yeah. Right. Right.
like
Right. Right.
Brazil is huge. Brazil is like the
Yeah.
like let's just say it's like the U.S. I would say Paraguay is probably something like New Mexico, maybe. Like it's
Yes.
a good portion of it, but you know what? Don't use it for diplomatic things. And he was like, "Got it. I'm going to declare war on Brazil." Not a smart move. Okay, so much like everybody else does when they say don't do this, you're like, "Got it," and then you do it anyways. He does that. Then at one point, he was trying to request for Argentina, the southern country,
Mm-hmm.
to allow his army troops to like travel through to go somewhere. Maybe it was to side blind or attack Brazil. And Argentina was like, no, 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 we're not going to allow you to do that. He was like, cool, I'm declaring war on you too. And it's like, hold up. So you are literally in between here, and you're like, I'm going to declare war on this guy. Oh, I'm going to use you. Can I go through here? No. Okay, I'm declaring war on you too. Now, after all this happened, Argentina, Brazil, and at the time Uruguay. I'm not sure if they were a country at the time, but they were basically like best friends with Brazil and Argentina. Um, they were an alliance, and they were like, you know what? If Brazil and Argentina are attacking you, we're gonna jump in too.
Right.
And they all declared war on Paraguay. And at that point, Paraguay was wrecked. Um, and uh, the population decreased by like 50% at least. Um,
You mean because of the war, like just killing?
just because they were fighting north, south, and basically everything around them because it was like, I
Wow.
declare war on you. Declare
For sure.
war.
Yeah,
Declare war.
I know it's landlocked. Right.
Yeah. Oh, it's like right in the middle. It's
Right.
The exact opposite of what Oprah does. It's like, you get a car, you get a car. It's like, you get a war, you get a war, you get a war. But it's the population decreased by more than half. And then it was like, of the age of fighting men who were available, it was like
Right.
90% of those men were killed. Um,
Whoa.
and then no one really knows why this happened, but he kind of they think it's out of like a fit of rage or madness. He just starts ordering executions in his own country, where he's like, "You get executed. You're executed. Uh, you're my brother, but you made me look bad at Thanksgiving. You're executed." And started executing everybody.
So he killed his
Um,
brother?
Oh no, it's just family
Oh,
members. I don't know exactly, but it was like this dude was
whoa.
just, I think, losing it and was just starting executing, like blaming people, like it's your fault, your fault.
Probably just like
Um,
made him look bad, or like they talk crap about him,
how
you know.
how could you look bad after you declare war on two separate countries who have an alliance with a third, who are like, you know what,
And
I'm in
landlocked.
this too. Yeah. So naturally, at the ripe old age of, I don't know, whatever age he was, or roughly around 1870, he died in combat.
Mm.
Yeah.
Who did he die? Was like against the three countries?
I didn't look into it. I was
Okay.
too wrapped up in how funny this was, where it was like, don't do this. And he's like, got it. And then did it, and then attacked someone else because they said no. And then the other two countries who was attacking was like, dude, we have a treaty, or do you not see how serious this is? And then like attacked him. And then he was like, it's your fault. It's your fault. Start killing everybody. And then,
You know,
yeah.
this is a kind of a random connection. I just posted a video today about terrible Roman emperors.
Ah,
With Roman emperors, it's like, okay, we're saying they did this. Do we really know? Just 2,000 years
hmm,
ago, we have like
yeah.
three different accounts. One is like 30 years, whatever. But with like what's his name? Lopez.
Yeah.
Um, it's like fairly recent. So I'm sure all the stuff you mentioned, it's like, yeah, like he did it, and it's kind of
So
crazy. Like,
the
you know,
craziest thing about this was not like a lifetime for him. Like, he declared war on Brazil in 1864 and then died in
oh, so it really
1870.
is. Oh
This was
wow.
literally like 6 years. He was like, "I declare war on you. I declare war on you. Oh wait, I'm being attacked. It's your fault. It's
I
your
don't think
fault."
Paraguay is big. Even now, it's like,
No. It's
yeah.
like I said, it might take up a quarter or a sixth of Brazil.
I will say, in the 1800s, South American countries. I mean, sorry, there were much fewer South American countries. Like,
Yeah.
so maybe Paraguay was bigger back then, and then like it
It
splintered off, and like
it may
Argentina,
have been.
something maybe, yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if Google Earth has that.
I think you could probably look at older
1800s though?
maps.
No. Yeah, oh
No,
yeah,
but like
yeah, yeah.
older maps. But like, for
Yeah.
example, there used to be a country called Gran Colombia, and I don't believe there was Venezuela in that country at the time. Please don't hate, but it's like outside of Gran Colombia,
Yeah.
it broke apart in different countries now. But yeah. Um. Well, I mean, Burnside still lived in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, but
He became governor 3 times of Rhode Island.
I
Like,
think they gave him
yeah.
the smallest state because of those decisions. It was
No,
like, "We feel
he's
bad
from
for
there.
him."
He's from
Oh,
there.
that's even
He's
worse.
from Rhode Island, yeah.
I'm
And
sorry from anybody from
he
Rhode
was like a
Island.
twice-time senator of like Rhode Island. I'm like, this guy was an absolute mess and still got positions of
So,
power in some way.
anybody out there listening to this right now, this just goes to show you that no matter how many mistakes you have in life, you can still do something good,
Right, yeah, yeah.
unless you
Well,
declare war on 3 different
yeah,
countries.
not Lopez. The guy died. Um, do they have an image of this guy, like an actual picture? Probably, right?
Lopez?
Yeah.
Well, you gotta be careful, I guess, because I think that's why, like, people who are famous and do bad things have 3 names so you don't confuse them. Francisco Solano Lopez.
Oh, there's an actual picture of him. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh, he does not look like a good general. You can just tell by these images. He does not look like a general. Yeah.
well,
Wow.
okay, again, if your parent says, "Here, oh, you found a fork." First of all, take the fork out of the child's hand. Second of all, if they say, "Don't put it in that electrical socket," don't go, okay, and then do exactly what they say. Don't, because chances are
which
it's probably good for you.
a lot of kids do actually, unfortunately. But oh,
or clothespins or
so
paper
who do you think
clips.
is worse? You like Burnside more?
Oh
The
man.
Battle of
Okay,
the
so
Crater.
Burnside I like just because it's like you again, the concept of blowing up the city and like catching it off guard, it's
Yeah.
good. You messed it up.
Yep.
How do we fix this? Don't go into the crater.
I think
Like,
yeah, Lopez is worse in the sense that
well, he wrecked
it's
his
not like
country.
yeah, it's not like Burnside, lost the Civil War. But yeah, I always like that story about Burnside because it's like Battle of the Crater. Because in that one video, they were like, after the crater was blown up, they were like, they went into the crater, not around, and I was like, what? So yeah, that's pretty hilarious. So
I can't
basically,
believe that.
yeah, it actually happened. So basically, that's pretty much it for today. Went over some good generals, bad generals. I think the bad ones are a little bit more fun, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's always more fun to laugh at these kind of things. But in
Hopefully,
retrospect,
we don't offend anybody by these because
right? Somebody's like, I'm related to Burnside. How dare you? Um, yeah, that'd be hilarious. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And we hope you enjoyed this video.
Hmm.
And we'll have another topic next time. So we will see you guys soon. Okay,
Yeah.
bye bye. See
Later.
you. Bye.